Hey everybody, my name is Jay and welcome to Jay Book Reviews. The book I'm going to do today is Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door. I'm going to make it perfectly clear that I do not recommend this book for any person who's going through abuse or that went through abuse, because this book does contain graphic and torture and downright disturbing stuff, because this book is very disturbing. However, if you're the people who are into horror, just like me, I do recommend it, but I do not recommend those people who went through abuse or is going through abuse, because it's not a fun book. It's not a very one. It's not a very fun book at all. So, the premise of the story is about a guy named David who's telling his story of the most traumatic, emotional memory of his childhood. He tells a story about how he lived right next door to this alcoholic woman named Ruth and her three siblings, Donnie, Willie, and Ruther, I believe, who are they're pretty they seem normal enough in the beginning of the book. They seem very like typical kids doing bad things, like talking about Playboy and all of that stuff. But then one of their nephews or nieces, Susan, Susan and her sister Meg, lived there because of their parents have tragically died in a car accident because they were in it, and now have to live with them. This begins the rape and torture and emotionally torture to both of the sisters. And that's pretty much the whole basic of the story. We're pretty much reading this person's perspective of seeing two girls getting abused and downright abused by pretty much the three siblings and her aunt, Ruth, and also the neighborhood kids. And that's the premise of this book. That's pretty much it. Um, I mean, this is a short review. The reason why I'm talking very low is because I'm speechless. Because at first I thought this book was gonna be like kind of like dull. I thought it was gonna be very dull, and I thought this was gonna be about we see just like I thought it wasn't going to be that downright scary because it was supposed to be about this. I already knew what the book was about at the time, and I thought maybe it wasn't that bad, and maybe it's not as the faint of heart as people said, because on the back of the book they're telling you how it's very very shocking, and I thought maybe it's not going to be that shocking, and oh my god, I am so damn wrong that reading this wasn't easy. I mean, it was shocking, and it makes you feel like you're in the main character's footsteps, because you could see the shit happening, and it is disturbing. It's not fun to watch it. Seeing these two girls who get abused by pretty much the whole neighborhood kids and even the three siblings, which at first I cared for them because I thought because they reminded me from Stand By Me, the movie, because they were pretty much like your typical Stand By Me kids who they smoked cigarettes, they drank beer, and they read Playboy magazines and talked about things. And I really liked them, but then as the story progresses and as the abuse starts, you feel like you want to have you don't want to be their friends at all. You want to hate them afterwards because how very disturbing they feel. They have to listen to their aunt Ruth. Ruth is by far the most I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to support this, but I do think the villain in this is so good. Ruth is downright. It's like you don't know what she's gonna do, and this is definitely a page turner. I did find this very. It's very short. It clocks over. Let's see, about 273 pages, which I read this in like a couple days, and it was it was a great book. I do find this book very good, and also I found the writing style very entertaining. Um, yeah, sorry if I got a little backtrack for a second. What was I saying? The villain. Yeah, the villain Ruth was so damn complex. She was so well done. Um, Even the three siblings, it was like you don't know what each chapter was going to be because the chapters were either short, sometimes even long. But it seemed like every chapter, if the beginning seemed like it started like just like a typical story at first, but then as the book progresses, it then becomes more into that horrific scenes with the torture and all that. And now I'm gonna go off topic again and just let you know that this book is actually based on a true story that actually did happen back then in 1966, I believe. However, the book took place in 1958. However, the real thing that happened it happened in 1966 in around Indiana, where the same thing that happened to the two girls happened to happened to the same person, and the person did end up getting killed from the torture from her aunt, and I guess the siblings too. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I think about the book. I just don't want to spoil anything because I did find this book very good. Um, it's not very like entertaining to watch these two people or these two girls getting tortured because to me there's a difference between um, realistic horror and over the top horror. For instance, American Psycho. In that book, there is a lot of gore, graphic shit in that book, and but however, it's a black comedy. It's a satire in the 1980s in Wall Street at the time because Wall Street in 1987 through 1990 was going through hell at the time and all that shit. And the main character, Patrick Bateman, he at nighttime he go kills people. He gets pretty much anything he kills on sight, and it describes in graphic content, and you read, and it's just so like yeah, it's disgusting, but however, it's more over the top and it is graphic at times, but still it's a good read. But however, it does turn off some people off because they don't like hearing that stuff. That is kind of entertaining because it is pretty entertaining just to watch, just because it's over the top. Now this story is not over the top. It actually happened and it's disturbing as hell because you don't want to see this shit. It's like, and also there is a movie, and I don't feel like I'm gonna watch the movie because I don't want to see that shit that I read in the book that actually happened. That I read, I just find it kind of not interested in it. Now, after when you finish this book will stick in your mind pretty much forever. It's not going to be going away. It's like traumatic trauma that you used to have as a kid that you remembered. I remember seeing this book around every website of top 100, top 10 best horror books, and this one's pretty much going to be on my top best horror books because this book is not about vampires, zombies, anything supernatural, but about real human beings, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre type. That's why I found this book very scary, and because how real it is and how shocking it is. Um, yeah, I found this book very, very great. I like this book. Would I read it again? That's up to me because I don't have that question. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So, what's my review? What's my rate? A 4.5 out of 5. It's a great book. I do thought this book was pretty good. It's disturbing as hell though, but it was very good. However, I do not recommend it to anybody who's gone through abuse or went through abuse, but only for the hardcore horror fans like me. Okay, well, I guess that's it for my book review today. Next time I'll probably review something different, hopefully more lighter than this book, because this book is pretty dark. It's not it's not a fun read. But otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next book review.